There are four pathways to liberation in yoga. When you do your asana practice, your poses at classes or whatever, that is 1/8 of one of the four pathways in yoga. To digress a little bit, I'll explain it like this. If I told you that I was going to bring you out and teach you how to play soccer, and we went out every day and we just practiced penalties and kicked the ball into the back of a net and did that for years and years, and I told you that that was soccer, you'd accept that. If I told you that you wanted to be advanced at soccer, I might teach you how to take free kicks or corners, and that would be the level that you would go to. You know from what I've just told you that this would be a very, very small part of what soccer is. And yoga is no different. Yoga is all about the path to liberation, or as they call it, moksha. And there's four ways of attaining this for four different types of personality. The four pathways are karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, and raja yoga. I'll go through each of them and just give you an idea of what they are. So let's take one. Let's take what bhakti. Bhakti yoga is the yoga of devotion. And probably for people in the Western world, you might know about the Hare Krishnas. They would be a very good example of the yoga of devotion. They're devoted to Krishna and they're all about love. So anyone that's devoted, that has a religious bent or that type of person is very, very suited to bhakti yoga. And that road to liberation is all about devotion to something greater than yourself and total immersive love in that person or thing or God that you're immersed in. And that's one pathway. Another pathway is called jnana yoga. And jnana yoga is the intellectual side of yoga. The study of the Yoga Sutras, the Bhagavad Gita, and other scriptures. And this is called jnana yoga. And it's for people with an intellectual bent, people that like to study, like to read. And all these books behind me would be all books, yoga books, Bhagavad Gita, about yoga, about different philosophies and that. So that would be part of my jnana yoga practice. Another type of yoga, the third type, would be karma yoga. And karma yoga is the yoga of selfless service, really, is how you could describe it. So people who would work in charitable organizations, would train kids at their local football field, people that do things where they don't expect any return from it. They do it just for the sake of doing the action because they like to do it. So a lot of the Bhagavad Gita is taken up in this idea of selfless service, or doing actions for the sake of the action and not expecting anything in return. In fact, not attaching any emotions or feelings or anything like that to the outcome of your actions. So people, as I say, that would do charity work and things like that, they would be karma yogis. And of course, the fourth one is Raja Yoga, which I generally spend most of my time talking about on these videos. And Raja Yoga is the eightfold path, or the Ashtanga, the 8 limbs of yoga. And as we know for them, they're the yamas, the niyamas, the asanas, the pranayama, the pratyahara, the dhyana, the dharana, and the samadhi. And that is the yoga really of meditation. And the way to liberation in that practice is through meditation. So all yogis, or all people who practice yoga, should have a little bit of each of them. But depending on your personality, it's where you would concentrate all your efforts. So for me, I do a lot of yoga practice, asana practice in Raja Yoga, but I'd also read a lot about yoga, about the Bhagavad Gita and about the sutras, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika and different books like that, and just study the philosophies of different schools of yoga. Also, you can do things like light a candle every day, put a flower beside it. You can, for your bhakti yoga, you can, if you're a practicing Christian, you can go to church or any other religion. If you like to do something that just gives thanks every day to something greater than yourself, that's your bhakti yoga practice. And your karma yoga, again, would be volunteering for local community groups, for the Vincent de Paul. Again, doing a service where you're not expecting anything in return. Try to blend these four pathways into your daily, weekly, and monthly and yearly yoga practice. That's the Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Raja Yoga. Any questions, as always, please DM me. And namaste, and thank you for listening.